Picture this. You're sitting with your friends, other moms who have gone through a divorce or are contemplating, who maybe didn't picture their lives co-parenting, but are there with you. You're sharing your stories, you're inspiring each other, validating and challenging each other through your shared experiences. You're belly laughing, tearing up, and enjoying your favorite cup of coffee all at the same time. You don't judge each other. You empower each other to continue on your journey, to heal, and to just be you, whatever that looks like. Welcome to Co-Parenting and Coffee.
Hi, everybody. It's Jill.
And it's Allie. Happy Halloween.
Yes, we're releasing on Halloween this year. We're very excited. Well, Yahoo! I think it's a good place to release because that is definitely a co-parenting experience, trick-or-treating.
Yeah, and interestingly, I think that like different families have different feelings about Halloween. Like, for my family, it's just like if Halloween falls on your day, then you get the kids. And so far, it's always fallen on my day. So this is like next year the kids will be with their dad, and I think that's great. I think it will be nice for them to have Halloween with him. But I know other families who, they go together.
Right. Yeah, when my daughter was younger, we used to go together, and now that she's a little older, he takes her um like before to like get ready and stuff, and then I pick her up and we go to my sister's family because they have an awesome trick-or-treating neighborhood, so it kind of
Yeah.
works.
Well, that's another big deal, right? Is like I live close to the sort of the neighborhood for trick-or-treating in our town. And you know, our I don't know. I don't know if their dad has a neighborhood that's like a trick-or-treat spot. So
Yeah, I don't.
they
My
might,
sister does, but I don't.
yeah. Interesting.
So welcome to Halloween week. And
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing to think about as you embark on your co-parenting journey.
well, and I think really important is not really as much Halloween maybe, but this is sort of the start of the holiday season, right? This
Mhm.
is where we're kind of gearing up for thinking about the bigger holidays typically. So that's where a lot of co-parenting conflict comes.
Big
So,
time.
and I think we have a good guest to talk about
I agree.
co-parenting and conflict today.
Definitely excited for everyone to meet our guest for today.
Yeah.
But before we get to Samantha, um, we want to talk about our grow work from last week. In this part of the episode, we review and share our insights on our grow work from the last episode. Last week was our grow or know your village work. We worked from a template that we share in our Facebook group. The worksheet lists different areas of need, and you can fill in the names of the people or businesses that fulfill that need for you. We thought this would be a good way to recognize spots in your life where you have great support, or you may need to seek out more support, and in places in which you were just fine not having support. Jill,
Yeah.
what did you discover?
I mean, I think the thing I really discovered this week is that I have like an amazing emotional support. I think I like could like fill in the whole box with names there, which I'm incredibly grateful for, but I would say I'm kind of lacking in every other box, which I don't think that I realized until having to really like think about that.
Not to sound like a therapist, but how did
Yeah.
that make you feel?
Well, I think it's not well balanced. I mean, I think
Yeah.
because I'm a people person, so like being around people, and I mean, I put like in the template, it said like emotional health and mental health. And if I'm separating those, I'm thinking like emotional health's more like personal, like, and mental health's more like professional. And I do that. I actually just got off the phone with my therapist like 10 minutes ago. Um, so I feel like both of those are pretty well covered, but I think it was actually a little surprising to me when I thought about all those other places, that maybe I need a little more help with.
Was there one area that you were like, oh, I need to do this like ASAP?
I would say no, I would probably should be, but I would say maybe financial. I mean, I'm an accountant, like
Yeah.
my day job. So I always think like, oh, I can do it myself. But there are things that I really should be getting support from other specialties in that. So I would say that's probably a good place to start for me. What about you?
So, similar to
Uh-huh.
you, emotional, especially, although it is to me like a three in terms of how important it is, but family, friends, our group, the list can go on and on about the people I can turn to. And I also have a therapist who I regularly meet with, and that has been a huge, I mean, I believed in therapy as a psychology major in college.
Mm,
I do believe that therapy is a really great tool.
yeah.
And certainly through my divorce, I could not have survived that without a therapist. And I
Yeah.
think if you're in a situation where you're feeling that there's conflict really in any way, it's just to me it's an essential component. So I would say for me the two spots that I was felt like I could maybe put more effort into are also sort of financial health. Not that I'm not financially healthy, but I think that I'm not an accountant. And so, having some professionals to support me in thinking about financial goals, thinking about
Right.
retirement, those kinds of things. I probably need that. And, I've done some groundwork on that in sort of terms of getting names, but I haven't moved on it. So maybe I need to prioritize that.
Yeah.
And then spiritual health, it's one of those things that I would call myself more spiritual than a religious person, but I think there is a need there.
Uh-huh.
I just haven't really prioritized that either. So that's another thing I need to explore a little bit.
I
So
think for the spiritual one, I felt like for me, it's just not something that's like really on my radar right now.
yeah,
But also I don't feel like for me, it doesn't feel like a real need right now. But I know in the past I have felt
sure.
like I needed more support around that. So
Yeah. And I think one of the things to be mindful of as you go through this exercise is, something that's been on my mind a lot today is mental load,
ugh,
and
moms,
uh-huh.
okay,
Yeah, moms especially, not to diminish dads. They,
right.
there's some really amazing dads out there, but I think a lot falls to the moms, even in the, a 50-50 divorce situation. And so, or custody situation. And so there's an awareness of like, how much of this can I take on right now? And so,
Mhm.
but that being said, there are things that probably like I probably should be updating my estate plans, stuff like that really, aren't on fire, but it
Right,
would be better to prioritize.
right. Actually, we have a question here on the worksheet that I think is really a cool one. Like, what makes you feel supported?
Yeah. So for me,
Checking off that box. I thought that was a good
it
question.
was a really good question. I feel supported when I have people I can go to, like my go-to people to bounce
Mhm.
questions off of. Sometimes it's about a specific
Mhm.
topic, like Jill, I may come to you with some tax questions.
Right.
But like also like, oh gosh, I know someone who's been through this thing, whatever it is, whether it's health or
Right.
it's emotional or whatever, and
Mhm.
and they come back and they're able to at least point me in a direction.
Yeah.
And also I have some really amazing friends who they check in on me without like being prompted.
Mhm.
They just out of the blue will be like, hey, how you doing? And that to me means the world because you were thinking of me and you thought to just like check on me. I don't know. That's those things make me feel supported. What about you?
I mean, I think pretty much the same. I guess why do I not like if I'm thinking about it in the other way, why do I not feel supported in the other places where I feel so supported in emotional and like mental health? Is probably because like I don't have a point person in those places that I can go to. So I think that's a really good point and something I need to definitely think about.
Well, these are our insights from this week. Don't forget to share yours by using the QR code on page 2. Thanks for participating.
We are so excited today to welcome Samantha Boss from The Ugly Truth of Divorce to our coffee date.
Hello, ladies.
Hello. She's the founder of The Ugly Truth of Divorce and a former teacher turned high conflict divorce coach, certified mediator, mother of
Mhm.
4, 2 older teens, 19 and 17, with her high conflict ex-husband, and 2 more littles, 5 and 4, with her unicorn of a fiance. Samantha is a certified and trained, but also experienced in her own journey of single parents. Her clients are typically high conflict and are looking for a detailed parenting plan with the needs and boundaries required to help parents parallel parent. She will give you the details you need in the parenting plan she develops for you. She will guide you through the next chapter in your post-divorce journey as you begin to find yourself as a single parent looking to be successful in parenting in being you. Welcome.
That's right. That's right. Thank you. Thank you for having me, you guys. It's great to be here.
Thrilled to have you.
The first question we always ask in co-parenting and coffee is, what kind of coffee do you drink?
I gave up coffee when I gave up teaching.
What?
I did. I drank 6 hours of coffee every day when I taught. And when I quit teaching, I like had this whole rebranding of myself and I got super fit and I started drinking just decaf and then I just kind of gave it up. And so I've switched to just like a shit ton of water. I just gave up alcohol recently. I'm like 40 days sober. So yeah, like it's been a change.
Like, what do you drink if you don't drink coffee? What do you?
I drink water.
Water.
I drink a vitamin drink. Like I do with shakes. I don't like sweet teas, kind of like my like treat. I drink 1 Diet Coke a day.
Okay.
But like I'm on my health journey right now. That's the phase, the chapter that I'm in. I just had 2 kids, like you mentioned, and I weighed 200 plus pounds since I've had them. And I'm on this close to being in the 190s. And so I'm just on this new kick. So I would love to go coffee. I've never found a cold coffee brew I like. My daughter lives on cold brew coffee. And every time I sample it, I'm like, I'm just a gas station black coffee former drinker. So this foofy stuff, I just can't get into it. I just can't. I wish I could.
I think that's fair. I drink iced coffee. I mean, in the Northeast, which I think is so random. A lot of us just drink iced coffee all year round.
All year round, right?
And, like it doesn't make any sense.
That'd be 1,000 degrees for me. 1,000 degrees for me to drink an iced coffee.
Really? See, I drink it all winter long. I'll be shoveling outside snow with an ice coffee.
Yeah, I would drink the hot coffee when I'm golfing and it's 110 out. I'm still drinking the hot coffee. But then I was also having diarrhea. So I'm like, okay, maybe we should like take that away. And it worked. So it totally helped my stomach. So that was one of the other reasons I quit. But yeah, that was valid.
Diarrhea is always a good reason to quit.
I know. And people know this that are on my own channel. Like I have colitis and I talk about it all the time because I think poop needs to be talked about more. And you just have to figure it out. Like when you poop constantly, if that's one of your causes that's making it even worse, you just had to tame it down. So yeah, I just drink a ton of water. I drink probably 3 or 4 of these a day. And yeah, I wish it made my skin look better, but you know, I'm 44.
You're glowing, but
I'm 44. So, you know, you got to start paying attention to those health things as you get older. Like,
See, I feel like for me, all the time. Coffee's like the last thing I have. I don't want to get, I feel like, that's all I have.
That's true.
Give it up.
Right. I see that. I respect it.
I see what you're saying.
Oh my God.
All right. So, we'll start off with some questions.
So, you know, we're of course curious about what inspired you to start doing this work.
Obviously my divorce, you know, I was a teacher, I was educating people. I was a high school teacher and a junior high teacher, and I loved it. I taught PE, I taught driver's ed, I taught health, but I didn't like my administration. And then I met my unicorn and he was like, okay, going to work, you on Sunday night is miserable, but you keep helping all of your friends with their divorce, because my divorce was horrible. It took 8 years. It took 4 years to actually get divorced. It took another 2 years to fight a custody battle. And so, you know, it was this big, long, drawn out thing. And I started helping friends, doing little paperwork on the side for people and coaching people. Like, don't do that. No, don't hire them. You know, I was giving all of my advice, and Jared, my unicorn, was like, why don't you just start teaching adults about divorce? And I was like, that's dumb. Like, I'm not certified. I'm not trained. Like, I'm just a, you know, person that went through a horrible divorce, had 3 attorneys, spent $100,000. You know, I might know something, but nobody's going to listen to me. And then COVID hit and my mom was like, you should go to TikTok. And I'm like, okay, you are crazy. And
I love that your mom told you to go to TikTok.
Yes, she'd been on TikTok. And so she was like, take your business to TikTok, because after he told me to quit teaching, I did go get trained and certified. And I started the business, but I was all local. I was doing everything local here. I hadn't taken it to the globe, you know, to the internets. And when my mom said get on TikTok, again, I was like, you are crazy. And I took it to TikTok and it just kind of exploded. And
Yeah.
I realized that I didn't have to help just the few moms in my area, that I could help moms everywhere. And it just took off. So my passion behind teaching is how I got into it. My horrible experience of painful divorce, you know, my pain and passion just met together and it became this business. And I wake up every day so excited to come to work. Like I told you, this is the thing I've done first for my job today. And I'm just so excited to like help people, to be that light bulb moment for people, like giving them strategy. I felt really dumb in my divorce. Like
Mhm.
I had 2 master's degree, but I felt intimidated to ask a question. And I
Mhm.
was the primary parent. Here I was having somebody tell me I wasn't good at it. I was so confused through my divorce and I felt intimidated and uninformed. And I let the attorneys talk for me. And I just had a lot of regret. And I'm like, I kept telling my mom through my whole process, I said, there has to be a reason I'm going through this. Like,
Right.
because this is not going well. And there has to be a reason. And then fast forward when she's like, take that story to TikTok. I was like,
Yeah.
okay. And I did. And I have never looked back. It's been the best decision I've ever made. And my business is just growing because people want to be informed.
Right.
And I
Well,
just think I think I speak really well. And people want to
Yeah.
listen because I relate to people really well because I was them.
Yeah, well, and I
I was
think
them.
the thing we were talking about earlier too is like one thing that I really connected with you on is just how authentic you are.
Yes.
Like,
Right.
this sucks. It
It
really is hard.
does.
And co-parenting
It
is
does.
tough. And my co-parenting like situation isn't high conflict, I wouldn't say. And that's
Right.
actually one thing I was
Good.
thinking about for our conversation today is that I want people that to understand that even when it's not high conflict, I think sometimes you feel like, or I felt like that maybe I shouldn't be complaining about it, or it's not as
Right.
painful.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
think that that's an important thing to recognize that even when it's not a high conflict situation, it is
It's still
awful.
your
Right?
situation. I have
Yeah.
clients say that all the time. They'll get on the phone with me and, do
Right.
consults and they'll say, Sam, I know your story. Mine's not near as bad. I'm like, whoa, whoa,
Right.
whoa, just stop there. This isn't a comparison thing. Like
Right.
mine
Exactly.
was a shit show. Like it
Right.
was a shit show, but
Mhm.
yours is a shit show for you. And you're going
Right.
through your own struggles and your own pain. And maybe you didn't have the resources I did. Like maybe your
Right.
finances are better or worse. Like everybody's individual story. There's no 2 divorces the same. There's no 2
Mhm.
co-parenting journeys the same. Your sister's co-parenting journey is not your co-parenting journey.
Mhm.
Like they're all different. And there's peaks and valleys. There's
That's
good
right.
seasons and there's shit seasons. I just happen to go in the shit season a little bit longer than the average couple,
Right.
Um, so everybody's and yours could churn bad. Anybody's could churn
Oh, yeah,
bad
that's
when a new significant other comes into play. Like
Mhm.
anybody that has a great season for a long
Mhm.
time, it can flip like that as soon as
Absolutely,
somebody new walks into the door. So it's so good to just be prepared, be
right.
informed of like, hey, if this gets ugly, I at least know some boundaries that I could start enforcing. Like
Absolutely.
I
I
could
think
be
that's such
ready.
an important point, and I
Right.
think something I think about and because especially, I mean, I don't know about in Illinois, I'm sure. Um, Everything is modifiable. So I think you sort of
Yeah.
always have, I don't know if you feel this way, and I don't know about you either, Allie, but I have this like even though we are decent co-parents, I always have this underlying fear of modification.
Oh
And
God, yeah. Yeah,
right?
because
Yeah.
it opens Pandora's box.
Right.
Right.
And it's like, I try to be like, okay, there's no reason to feel that way, but it's like no matter what, when you're parenting with someone or co-parenting with someone, there's always this person that could mess things up.
Right,
Mhm.
right. And somebody coming in that,
Mhm.
I have a couple
Right.
clients right now. She's like, our journey was going great. And then he got with this woman who
Right.
she had a toxic divorce. She
Mhm.
doesn't have a good relationship with
Right.
the baby of her, father of her babies. And now she wants us to fight like they fight.
Right.
And she's like, and now
Oh
it's
yeah, I'm sure
horrible,
that's really high
And
conflict.
it's like, she goes, we were perfectly fine till she came in the mix. And now she doesn't like us talking. And now all hell breaks loose. And it's like,
Right.
there's an example of somebody that they were fine until that
Right.
third party. And now modification is on the table for both couples because she's like,
Oh,
we got to switch holidays. You need more time. You need to go
Mhm.
fighting for this. You should have asked for this. And she's like, we were working. The kids are
Right.
successful. And now this third party. So you got to be ready for that at all
Yeah.
times. But I think what you said is what everybody's fear is
Mhm.
living in fear the whole time. Like,
Right.
is the egg gonna drop? Is what's
Right.
gonna
yeah.
happen? Like, is he gonna wake up on the wrong side of the bed today and bark at me? Is he gonna date somebody? Is he gonna file a motion? Like, you're always living in this what if everything falls at the
Right.
same time. And it's a horrible place to live. It
Yeah.
is. It is.
And
It's a
so,
horrible-
I mean, I feel like that's a really good segment to talking about parenting plans.
oh gosh,
And
yes.
talking about, so you're gonna like roll your eyes at me. So my parenting plan.
Is it gonna be cringy? Is it gonna be cringeworthy here? Is
Yes,
it 4
it's very
pages?
No, it's like, yeah, it's nothing. It's very vague. It's the opposite of what I think.
My 43-page one that I give
Right.
people.
And to be fair to me, my daughter was 7 months old when we got divorced, and we were able to communicate, able to talk about finances, all that stuff. And we kept it very vague because we knew, she's only 7 months old. We have 20 years of co-parenting plus.
Right.
So we want to keep it vague so that, we can change it as we go. Now it's worked well so far, and I'll say so far underlined. And that's where I do think about like parenting plans and how that could be really helpful for if the other shoe drops, right?
Right. Right. So basically what I see is people that fall right in your category. We're getting along now. When we separate, we'll figure it out in the future. We'll come back
Right.
and talk about it. When it happens, we'll figure it out. We'll get
Right.
together.
Yeah.
Okay. And what happens is that doesn't happen.
Right.
What happens is you end up arguing. You have this hot topic of, hey, what preschool do we want to put her in? And you're
Right.
like, well, it makes sense to use the one down the street from me. And he's like, well, wait a second. I have one across town that my
Right.
girlfriend's kids go to. Let's put them all together. And now we're like, oh, fuck. There's
Mhm.
nothing in that parenting plan that says anything about preschool. What do we do? Well,
Right.
most people, it doesn't say anything. So it means you have to go get your attorney again, go back, pay a retainer, get a modification, file a motion, and you're starting this whole divorce process over again.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's that fear that everybody has. I don't want to go
Oh.
spend another 20 grand again just to talk about
Right.
preschool,
Right.
So having that longevity from the get-go in your parenting plan, people get so honed into, I'm divorcing and I have a 3-year-old. And I only
Mhm.
need to worry about 3-year-old. No, you need to worry about the 13-year-old version of that child and the 17-year-old version and the 19-year-old version of that child. You can't
Absolutely.
have just a plan for a few years. Your attorney, though, I will say, most attorneys want you to have a plan for only a few years. That way you have to come knocking back on the door and say, hey, we're going to school now. We need to hire you again. So you need to really talk to your attorney about that longevity. You
Mhm.
got to have a plan that has longevity. And the other mistake that I think a lot of people make is not being specific enough, and that good, wholesome heart of getting along. People are like, hey,
Right.
we'll split every other holiday.
Right.
Okay. When you're in a shit season, how many holidays are we splitting? Are we getting down to donut day? I mean, some couples get to where they're arguing about every single holiday. And
Yeah.
then they also don't have times wrote down. So you're thinking, well, we're going to split the holiday. I got Christmas, but okay, well, I get Christmas Eve. But what time do we switch? Are we switching at
Right.
4:00 on Christmas Eve? We switching it's 9:00 in the morning on Christmas Day. Nobody wants to switch then. They want them the night before. So this
Right.
argument erupts in a bad season about how much time over the holidays. So timing and writing down very specifics. And I think the one thing that people need to take away about details is this: in a bad season, you need them. In a good season, you put it on the shelf and you just
Right.
compromise. You
Yeah.
get
Right.
along and you say, hey, what time do you need the kids? Oh, you
Right.
want them at 9:00? You know what? 9:30, I'll drop them off. Does that work? Okay, perfect. You
Right.
compromise. But in that shit season, nope. It says 4:00. We're doing 4:00.
Right.
No, we're not talking. No, we're not. No, we're not there today. We're just
Yeah.
going to
So
fuck.
it really gives
You gotta have a
those
backbone.
boundaries, like for when shit.
Yes, it's your
Yeah.
backbone. So if you're somebody that's nice, you're the pushover, you're the logical person, you're the easygoing person, your
Right.
parenting plan is your backbone. Because you
Right.
go, oh, you know what? I'd love to
Love
compromise
that.
and work with you, but I don't want to be in contempt. I'm just
Yeah.
going to follow the parenting plan. I don't feel comfortable having this conversation this close to the holiday. You should have brought that up like 30 fucking days ago because this has been planned since, I don't know, the turn of time.
Mhm.
I'm not going to be your procrastinating, time changing
Oh
person. So
God, yes.
can we just, right? I mean, it's like Christmas comes around a different day every year. No, it's the same
Yes.
fucking day, but you wait
Yes.
till Christmas Eve to ask me for more time on Christmas Day. Like I don't have fucking plans.
Right.
Like I
Mhm.
hate that. So, in my parenting plan, I always put notification of how soon do they need to ask you for those changes,
That's brilliant.
Yeah, you have to. You have
So,
to.
and my question to you then next is, this sounds like this can happen to anyone, right?
Anybody.
Any, what about people who are in a, either, I guess you could say they're divorcing someone who's high conflict. That's
Oh,
like a whole other category, right?
the big mistake I see with the person that's not high conflict is they think, okay, this person will snap out of it and they'll start to compromise once this divorce is over. So I'll
Mhm.
just sign this shitty parenting plan and
Mhm.
it'll get better. Like once they get away from me, no, They will come for you every single moment. They ruin every holiday. They ruin every Christmas, every birthday, every special occasion, preschool graduation, ruined. They will ruin it if you do not have details in your plan. So it doesn't really matter if you're high conflict or not. You have to have the details, but people with high conflict, you got to know from the get-go of divorcing this person and starting your co-parenting journey that it's about following directions. You can't give an inch, all the time. My ex-husband would be like, hey, can I have the kids a couple more hours? And I'm like, I don't want to be an asshole. I don't want to be a bitch. I don't want the court to think I'm not being flexible. So I'm like, okay. And then when I needed a favor, like, hey, I want to leave early. Can I change times? No, we're sticking. And I'm like, wait a second. Like, I just 3 times gave you them for like 6 extra hours and I'm asking for a 30-minute time change. And you're saying no. High conflict will tell you no every single time. And I see too many people stay in that mindset of trying to figure out why. They hate you. That's why. They've never liked you to begin with, actually. Like, they don't have emotional connections to anything. So like, you trying to put your heartfelt, rational belief into why would they hurt me? Why would they do that? They're not even looking at it that way. It's just a win-lose situation for them. And they will always win and stomp on your own children to win.
Right.
Always. So high conflict people, you have to have the detail from the get-go. Have to. Don't regret that. I have so many people like, I was just getting bogged down. I was getting over it. It was too much. So I just signed it. Because the high conflict parent was in their ear, bitching, threatening. And so they got weak in the knees and signed a shitty plan. And now they're screwed.
So then like, for instance, like my case where we don't have a very rigid parenting plan, say, even though we don't have a high conflict situation right now, is there something I could do?
Absolutely.
Parenting plan in place that's
absolutely yeah, you're in a great season with him, so you just say, hey, you know what, in this next fiscal year of 2024, let's just start writing down what we do for every holiday and document it, and then we'll alternate the next year and do the other parent, and we'll just start writing down what we do. And as we go through seasons throughout this next year, we're going to start writing down things that we think of in the future. I'll bring 3 or 4 topics a month, you bring 3 or 4, and by June you could probably have the whole thing done. But you want to talk while you're in a good season. You don't want to wait till you're in, he's got a new woman and now now you're in a bad season and there's no compromise. So you start with saying, hey, we need a little bit think in the future. We need some more specifics for if we ever do crossroads in a wrong direction, get in a fight, let's just have a little bit more specific paperwork. I'll start jotting out ideas and I'm going to give you a proposal. This is a rough draft. I just want you to bring your edits too. Nothing final. We're not going to court. I'm not motioning, but let's just start maybe thinking about getting more protection for both of us. Because if I get with someone and they start a problem, you want to feel like you're protected and your time will never be lost. We want to make sure our paperwork protects us both. So you have to word it in a way that it is protecting you, but it's a fucking contract.
It is really, right?
It is a contract. You have to abide by it.
And then for the parenting plan, how do you make it legal? Like, do you have to get a lawyer then and go to court and all that stuff? Can you?
No, not at all. I have couples all the time that come to me, and I like, usually one person comes to me, I build their parenting. It's mostly moms. Sometimes I get a few dads every once in a while. Build their parenting plan for them. They take it over to their soon to be ex and they say, hey, I worked with someone that knows how to do this. This is all what it is. Then you go to your courthouse, and every courthouse has a parenting plan, but it's like a Mad Libs. It's like a check a box, fill in a form, and it's not custom. It's not custom to your child or your guys' lifestyle or your jobs. And it's so hard to manipulate it into being custom. So I always just check the very first box that says, are you attaching your own parenting plan? Check the box and then staple the parenting plan that you get from me. And then you go in front of a judge and you sign it. So every state has the ability to be pro se and represent yourselves and go through the whole system. People that get along, people that have respect for one another, people that don't want to spend the money, people that one person is in the game of divorce and the other person's like, I'll sign whatever. I just want to be away. You're perfect candidates to do it yourself. But people of high conflict where they say, I'm taking the kids, I'm taking the money, I'm taking the house and the fucking dog. You need an attorney. You can't protect yourself with crazy. You just can't.
Yeah, no, for sure.
What are some of the top things that some people come to you? Because I'm sure that you have people who come to you who are in the middle of the bad season.
Oh my gosh.
What are some of the top things that people forget to or don't include that cause that kind of conflict?
Great question. First one, the detail on the time of the pickup and drop off, like on sick days from school. So when it comes to visitation, their parenting plan said something vague like Wednesday and every other weekend. Well, what if dad takes off work on Friday? Is he allowed to pick up the child from school and start his vacation for the weekend early or not? Or does it say 4 o'clock and he has to wait till 4 o'clock? So not being specific with times is the biggest regret people have. Holidays, again, not being specific with times. But the other one is extracurriculars. They had the parenting plan when their kid was little and the kid was 3 and all he was in was like preschool, daycare. Then you fast forward and your kid is in high school or junior high and they're playing these sports and these extracurriculars. And you got one parent that's like, I'm not paying for that. I'm not taking them that practice. I'm not going 3 hours away. I'm not doing a hotel. And you got the other parent that's like, but our kid wants to play baseball and this is the level that we're at. So extracurriculars is one of the biggest subjects that gets missed, or it's generalized like, this is my least favorite sentence in the whole wide world. Both parties will be in agreement for the child to play a sport or an extracurricular like band or choir. Well, high conflict parent, he's going to be like, you want the kid to play band? No, then no, I don't want band. Right. Even though he was in band. It's always opposite with the high conflict parent. So like that sentence by a judge putting that in there by attorneys means we're going to have to go back to court and argue that one sentence because we're not going to agree. And nowadays, kids have the option of so many things inside of school and outside of school. So those things have to be talked about. I mean, my daughter was a competitive volleyball player, $22,000 a year. $22,000 a year to play volleyball. My son was a competitive cheerleader, $17,000.
Wow.
Guess who paid for it all? I did. You want to know why? Because there was no sentence about extracurriculars in my 4-page parenting plan, by the way. It didn't say anything because I got divorced when my kids were 1 and 3. And our attorney said, well, you don't know if they're going to be in sports or anything. Well, I mean, okay, I've done this a long time, been a teacher for a long time. There's very few kids that don't do shit.
Don't do anything. Yeah.
Like there's always a kid in band or chorus or fishing club or volleyball. Your kid is going to be in something,
right.
And
sort of to your point before is like, even if they're not, then you still have it in there.
Skip the paragraph. You just skip over it. Like, but at least if we need it, the paragraph is there. Like that's the argument. I've gotten in so many arguments with attorneys, and I hate to be heated, but I get so many attorneys that tell my clients who have this 40-page parenting plan saying, here you go. I wrote it. Here it is. Here are my thoughts. Here are my wishes. Can you go give it to my ex? And they're like, well, you can't put that stuff in the future. You don't know if your kid's going to need a car or a job. My argument is just that. If we don't need the car and we don't need him to have a job, we just don't read the fucking paragraph. Like it's not, just skip it. But if we do need it, it's there. And I don't have to pay a retainer to you again to come back. So that really determines if you got a good attorney or not. Somebody that's there for you or they're there for the billing. Which is it? Because it's one or the other. It's rarely both.
Yeah. Right. And what do judges think, like in your experience, about these like really
I'm telling you, the more podcasts I can get on, the more channels I can get on and get more clients across the nation. I'm changing the viewpoint. I've had some judges say, excuse me, sidebar, where did you get this from? Like how did someone get everything from, birth to graduation in here? Who did this? And I've had judges email me. I've had judges call me. I've had attorneys want to buy my parenting plan from me and say, can we use this? And I'm like, go for it. Like, if we can change the world and get people out of the court and stop spending all this fucking money inside and being miserable. I know when I'm in a court season, if my ex-husband filed 300 motions through our 8 years, every time I'm anxiety, I can't sleep, I'm drinking, I'm stressing, I'm on antidepressants, like I'm freaking out. Like it was horrible and I'm broke.
Right.
It was horrible. And do you think my kids had a great upbringing during that time? No, they didn't. The first 8 years of my co-parenting journey, it was fucking god awful. It's why I do this, to wake people up and say, don't live in that realm. Talk to your attorneys about getting the detail. And if you got to go to 4 to find the 5th attorney that says, holy shit, I love this. Yeah. Yes, I will push this. We need to take this to the judge. This needs to be the new county rule that we have all of this. I want it out to everybody, but it's kind of like a 50-50 right now, Allie. It's like some people love it. Some people don't. Some judges are like, no, because as we all know, judges and attorneys are all working for each other. Everybody's patting everybody's paychecks, and judges don't want a parenting plan that doesn't get that attorney hired back. Right. Because then they don't have cases. And then judges we don't need to have 4 family law attorneys or judges on the stand. So it's all a system. It's all a scam. All of it is just, nobody's out there for the greater good of families.
Right.
Right.
you
Right.
know?
What is really in the best interest of the kids? And yeah,
Yeah,
we have a whole episode on that.
exactly.
Uh,
Hmm.
What
Exactly.
I have a kind of shift in question, but
Sure.
like since we're talking about high conflict, like, and we didn't really talk that much about your divorce, although you did, a little bit share. What's something like, if you're looking back on your divorce, that you would do differently? Not necessarily in your well, maybe in your parenting plan too, but
Yeah,
something you would
I've done this before. I think I should probably do a TikTok about this too. I
Mhm.
would say first off, I assumed that my ex-husband was telling me the truth when he said, "Hey, we'll get along, we'll do this together." When
Right.
in reality, he went behind my back and hired the best attorney in the county.
Right.
I didn't inform myself what the divorce process was, so I would have paused and went and got an education. I would have realized it's not a fucking rush. Like,
Right.
pump the brakes. You don't have to like run to the courthouse, fill out like
Right.
go take a breath. Okay. We
Yeah.
said divorce on a Tuesday. He filed by Wednesday.
Mhm.
Like that made me panic, and panic
course.
made me rush, so I think I would have informed myself more. I would have researched attorneys. I would have realized that I needed somebody for high conflict, but I mean, I didn't know that till it's too late. Right. And I think I would have used my support system more so. I had this badass mentality that I caused this. I got married after 60 days. A lot of people don't know that, but I married this man after 60 days. So I took a lot of guilt that it's my fault I'm getting divorced.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't say, "Hey, I need help marrying the guy after 60 days that you probably told me was a piece of shit and I didn't believe you and you told me all the red flags." And I said, "No, those aren't red flags." I didn't ask for help because of that reason. So I went 4 years living a lie, acting fine, wasn't fine at all.
Yeah.
And I would have opened up and been more vulnerable and told my story a lot sooner and said, "I'm struggling as a mom. I'm struggling financially. I'm struggling emotionally greatly, and I need help." And
Right.
because I didn't, I chose alcohol. I chose isolating myself. I chose horrible friends. I chose sex with people I shouldn't have. Like I chose a bunch of wrong things because I didn't want to say I'm hurting and I
Right.
don't know how to get help. So
Yeah.
I think overall that was my biggest mistake, was not
Mhm.
opening up and saying, "I don't got it.
Right.
I'm not doing well."
It's such an
I'm
important
struggling.
part. Like
Mhm.
so I run a support group for women going through divorce with young kids, and Allie's a member. That's how we met.
Yeah.
And we have made the best. Sometimes I call it like trauma bonds, but
Yes.
like these bonds with these women. I mean, we will text each other some like deep shit. Like one of
Yep.
our moms is at court today, so we're texting like, "Hope you're good, thinking of you,"
Yes.
all of that stuff. But then also like, "Hey, I have to get a new car. What do you guys think about this car? Does anybody
Yes.
like this or that?" And when I was going through my divorce, I didn't have this group.
Mhm.
I didn't
Yeah, I
find
didn't either.
this.
There
And
wasn't support groups back in 2008 for me. Fuck, there wasn't
right,
even really, the Facebook had just started. Like there
Right.
wasn't anything like that. So to
and
have that, that's great that you have that.
yeah, it's so awesome. It has made such a humongous difference, like in my healing, even though like, I like, the person that's running it, like for me, it's just so incredible to watch these women, like when they come into the group, they're like shell shocked, right? Like
Yeah.
they're like a deer in
Yes.
headlights. And then to
Yep.
see them like become the people that they are and like find themselves like Allie.
Yep.
And like it's just over and over. I would do it
Yeah.
forever because it's just the best thing.
Sam,
Yeah.
I just have to commend you because I think back, to 2020 when I was contemplating divorce and trying to find resources then was kind of tough.
Yeah.
Um, but to imagine what wasn't out there, even that I
Oh,
was able to find at that time. I mean, you really must have kind of had to claw your way through and figure it out and fumble.
Well,
I
and
had to
it's
hit a
so,
rock
like you
bottom.
said, isolating. It is so
Yes.
isolating. I
Mhm.
think you said your kids were 1 and 3 when you were going through it. I think
Mhm.
especially with young
Little
kids,
kids,
because I
yeah.
think when you're parenting young kids, it's isolating anyways. You're
Yeah.
stuck at home kind of because they're little, or it's like a really big to do to go
Yeah.
anywhere, and then, obviously during COVID, forget about it. And
Right.
then it's just an isolating feeling anyways. So then when you have other women that have either gone through it or are going through it, and you can,
Yep.
share your experiences and you can laugh together and cry together, it's like so powerful.
Right. I only hire women that have been divorced in my company, and they're usually people that have started in my support group and like
Yeah.
they end up they came to the support group and then they ended up leading the support group and then now they work for me. But just yesterday I went on, I use StreamYard. I don't know if you guys do, to kind of like blast your stuff everywhere at the same time. So you can just go on live and it gets into all your groups. So I was doing that yesterday and here I was giving a training on some of the mistakes of divorce. And I was 30 minutes into a training and I told the story of my daughter and I riding in a car together after a volleyball game and I lost it live on camera. I cried for 12 minutes. I mean, I'm not talking like a tear. I'm talking like glasses off, makeup gone, hysteric, nose running. And everybody was like, just let it out. And so I just kept crying and telling them like, I'm almost at the end of my co-parenting journey. And it is a release. It's a complete, I've had so much tension and flight or fight for 16 years with this motherfucker. And it's almost over. It's almost over. His grasp on me, his control, him being in my town. Like I'm going to get ready to, like, I'm getting ready to have a whole new life. And this co-parenting journey with him is almost over. And I have 200 and some days left. And it's so, it's overwhelming because I don't know who I am without this fucking dark cloud, you know, that's been hanging over me for so long. And I know we'll all be fine, but it was like, I released this live and everybody's like, I need to cry. I'm like, then fucking cry with me. Like I'm somebody that's leading you, but still, I'm still struggling. Well, like you're always struggling. Like, you're always pivoting.
Absolutely. And always changing.
You're no expert, but you're living. Yeah. You're just, yes, you're constantly pivoting. You know, now I'm on a weight loss journey and then next it'll be something else and I'll try a new business. Like, I think we all need to be okay with understanding that where you are right now is not where you're always going to be. And I didn't believe that when I first got divorced. I thought, oh, fuck, I'm in this journey with this guy forever. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be 16 years of horribleness. I'm not gonna lie. It was 8 because I didn't know how to get myself out of it. I didn't know how to ask for help. I didn't know where to go. I thought I just got to deal with it. No, I didn't. I didn't know about boundaries. Hell, I didn't know what gray rocking was. None of that shit was available in 2008. MySpace was available, you know? No, teen nining was a thing. There wasn't parenting apps. You had to literally still call your co-parent and talk on the fucking phone. Like it was mortifying, you know, to like now you guys at least get to use the apps, which is so much better. So much better.
You know, I think about to even to send a text or an email, you know, we'll have conversations amongst ourselves in our group about how hard that can be. Opening yourself up, asking for something, it's a favor, or, you know, advocating on behalf of your kid.
Children,
and that the anxiety that produces, just waiting for that response. What's it going to be, you know?
What are they going to say? What are they going to come back with?
Almost never like kind or nice, you know, especially in a high conflict situation. It's always, like you had said, like it's always no, right? So
But I think teaching moms especially that you still have to say it. You still have to ask. You can't stop because that's what they want. They want you to roll over. They want you to conform. They want you to stop, you know, bothering them, you know, and it's not, this isn't about me, sir. This is about me advocating for my child. You may think it's me coming for you, but this is what's best for our child. And I'm not going to stop. You know, no matter what you come at me, I'm not stopping because this is for our kid. Having that courage to do that and that confidence behind yourself. I think one of the other things that I really lost early on was I lost confidence in my own parenting. You know, I thought whatever he said I needed to do, you know, you're being a shit mom. You're letting him have candy. I'm like, okay, no candy at my house. You know, you're keeping him up too late. I'm like 7:30. I was so, but I didn't realize how abusive it was in the marriage. So I was gone. And then I followed it still, even in co-parenting, I still followed his lead because I didn't have confidence in myself. And then once I found it, 8-year mark, I became this wild animal that he was like, who in the hell is this? And it all stopped. All the harassment stopped. All the bullying stopped. All the gaslighting stopped because I showed him somebody different. He didn't change. He didn't become kinder. He didn't let up. He just realized, oh shit, she ain't falling for it anymore.
Yep, you're right.
No, I'm not. You know, I took my power back. I lost it for 8 years. And it was horrible. And my kids paid the price for that. But now they're a part of my business too. And they're like, hey, we'll tell stories, we'll share, we'll tell feelings. And our whole goal is just to no family went through what we did. You know, of just putting your own self to the side and still complying to a high conflict. No, that's not. You got divorced for a reason. You don't have to live that life anymore. You shouldn't be anyways. You shouldn't be.
That's reminding me of a quote that I love so much. And it's, I'm going to forget it now. if nothing changes, nothing changes, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it took me like hitting a rock bottom
Mhm.
before I realized this is not going to go away. He
Yeah.
will never change. I have to change.
Right.
And it was just little itty bitty steps that I took, and it was slowly like evolved. And I was like, holy shit. Like, I'm not second guessing anything. I'm a good parent. I believe myself now. And
Yeah, I
it
love
changed
that.
everything. It changed everything so much so that when I changed, my own children started watching.
Mhm.
And they stood up to their high conflict parent because they saw me standing up to the high conflict parent. I think too many moms say, you should go tell your dad. Go tell your dad. You go tell your dad.
Right.
Okay, but that child's looking and go, but mom, you never said anything to him. You've never stood up for yourself, but you're
Right.
expecting me to. But
Yeah.
I've never seen you stand up to him, and you want me to go do? No way. No
Mhm.
way. You know, so kids model, and if they see you weak, they're going to be weak. If they see you, self-conscious, they're going to be self-conscious. So you have to model confidence. And I'm not saying coach your kids. I'm saying just show them that you're confident with everybody in your life. The waiter that won't, bring you some, confront them.
Right.
The lady that's rude to you at the store, confront her.
Yeah.
Show your kids that you can do it.
Yes.
And then they'll start doing it with their peers and their teachers and
Yeah.
their coaches. And then eventually their high conflict parent.
Mhm. Well,
It's all
hopefully
about
not,
modeling.
right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Wow.
Yep.
Do you have any advice for parents who are looking to empower their kids in dealing with a high conflict parent?
Yes. They have to fix themselves first. Everybody calls me and says that, Sam, how do I get my kid? I'm like, will you do it? Well, no,
Right.
no, it's all about you first. You have to take care of yourself. Your kids have to know that you have all your shit in order. You
Mhm.
got, you're good financially, you're good socially, you're good mentally, your health is good. You have good sleep patterns. You got good friends. Like, show them how to be a good human being, and
Mhm.
they will follow suit. But a lot of times it's this: high conflict parents don't let kids talk. It's a dictatorship. It's like, get over here, clean your room, push the chair in, put your shoes away. There's not a lot of choice. At
Right.
your house, I want a ton of choices. I
Mhm.
want you to say, okay, you want to put your shoes on first or get your coat on? Do you want to
Mhm.
have broccoli or do you want to have peas? Do you want to have more pizza or more pineapple? All the choices I give these children are completely things that I'm okay with. Do you want to stay
Right.
until 7:30 or 7:45? I don't give a shit. It's 15 minutes.
Right.
But I'm letting the kid feel like they hear their own voice come out of their mouth, and they're talking a lot. They're answering, they're talking, they're engaging. Do you want to wear a sweater or a sweatshirt? Hair up, hair down, earrings, no earrings. Choices all day long, to
Mhm.
where that kid hears their voice. And then when they go to that house, they get shut down and they're like, wait a second.
Mhm.
Right.
At this house, I get to have value and I get input and I hear, like, I get to talk all the time. I get to make choices. Over here, it's a dictatorship and I don't get a lot of choice.
Mhm.
Communication over here, I can express feelings, I can talk. I do a lot of trainings on how to get your kids to transition and open up and talk about things to where you can help them to where they can dump it and they don't have to keep reliving it during your visitation time.
Mhm.
But a big thing is just getting your kids to trust that they can be themselves at your house, because you're
Right.
the safe house, you're the easy house, you're the house that they can fart and sing songs and leave maybe a toy out and not get their ass chewed for it and
Right.
not make their bed every day and not get their ass chewed for it. And then over here, when they get there, they have to go back to being a militant child and making
Yeah.
sure they stay under the radar. And they
Mhm.
come home exhausted, and how you deal with their exhaustion and that transition is huge.
Oh my
Your
God.
kids have to feel safe with you. And eventually, with you showing them the empowerment that you have, they will be empowered. But you've got to let them have a voice at your house all the time, because you
Mhm.
have to think about, I got to do the opposite of what's going on over there.
Yeah.
So I come from an authoritative household. I was told
Yes.
when, how, what, you got to spank it if you didn't. And so
Mhm.
I had to take that and go, okay, I can't do that in the post-divorce world.
Right.
I
Right.
have to have a more love and logic kind of household. I have to have love languages, and love languages is what I want to end on, really, with the whole, how can you help your kids? Overdose your kid with love language, whatever theirs is. Out of the 5 for Gary Chapman, find out what your kid's love language is. If it's hugs and kisses, gifts, acts of service, words of affirmation, or quality time, fucking feed that kid that love language before they leave. And the second they get back, and the whole time you have them, that kid will stay true to you forever, no matter how much that high conflict parent gets in their ear and
Mhm.
tries to tell them what a piece of shit you are. That kid will never listen, as
Mhm.
long as he knows that you've shown them that you know how to love them and how to receive their love. Because a high
Mhm.
conflict parent, like I said at the beginning, doesn't have feelings towards people. They're
Right.
empathetic, like not the nowhere close to feelings for people. So they don't feel for their child. So when their
Right.
child is sitting there like, I need a hug, they're not going to give it. I
Right.
want you to play with me. They're not going to give it. So
Mm.
if you're overloading your kid and then you eventually, as they get older, show them how to fill their own love tank and show them how to get their own love language out of themselves, you're going to have a great human being and a kid that's going to eventually be able to stand up to their high conflict parent and say, kick rocks, you're rude. And I don't want to be around you.
Right.
And that's what my kids did eventually. My son left, he's 19 now. He left when he was 11. My daughter stayed because she didn't have any issues with her dad until she was the only child left. And then she just left a year ago in October.
Mhm.
And she's one of those kids. It's like, I stayed too long because I believed the gaslighting. I believed the
Mhm.
lies. I believed that he was, going to do something to you if I left. And she
Mhm.
stayed out of guilt. And then now that
Yeah.
she's here, she's like, my daughter's a badass. And it's all because I showed her how to be one.
Right.
Because
Oh,
I am,
Right.
because I am.
Love it.
So yeah, I love where my kids are at now, but it was a journey. 8 years, I wasn't showing them I was a badass. I was a weak, wounded victim. I call, I was a victim. You guys don't know what I'm going through. I played
Right.
that role so well. And I didn't take my power back till 8 years in,
Wow.
but nobody's ever taken it again.
I
So.
know. I don't think so. I don't
No.
think so.
well,
Even Jared.
Cool.
I mean, I think that's why my relationship with Jared works so well, is because I hold the power. I've never given it up to him either. He's never
Right.
going to have it. It's mine.
Right.
And I think that's what I've shown my two kids. My old kids is that they hold their own happiness. They own
Right.
their own power, So I think
I would
that's
say
where
that's
parents
so-
got to help their kids.
Yeah. I mean, like, so I'm remarried also, and that is a big difference in my first relationship as opposed to my second, where
Right?
like I am fine. Like
Mhm.
I want him here and I love him and he's very supportive and awesome and great. But now I know I don't need him in a different
Exactly.
way.
He's an accessory. That's
Right.
it. And if you lost your accessory and you left it at the train station tomorrow, you'd still be okay.
Yeah. But
And that's not
confident.
cocky
Right.
and that's not
No.
insensitive.
It's
That's
confident. It's more healthy, really.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, we complement each other. He
Right.
doesn't live and breathe for me,
Right.
and I don't live or breathe for him.
Right.
And I think that's so important to show your kids. And,
Mhm.
the thing that I have one mom just called the other day, she's like, my daughter's saying she doesn't want to go anymore. And she was a teenager.
Right.
And she's like, but the court system is telling me I have to make her go. I have to make her go. And long
Yeah.
story short, I'm like, but think about how that's going to play out if we make her go. What about when it's a toxic boyfriend in college? She's going to be like, well, even though I don't want to be here, I guess I'll stay. And
Right.
that whole mind shift of my feelings don't matter. I have to go do this because he's telling me to, just like my dad told me I have to, even though he may be abusive in this example.
Right.
So I think we really got to listen to our kids and empower them to know how to feel, how to talk, be safe.
Mhm.
And our relationship with our kids for these first 18 years is important. Don't get me wrong, but you got to think about how you advocate for your kids in these 18 years is going to impact whether you are at a wedding, whether you are at your grandkids' birthday parties.
Yes.
You got to make sure you're doing right by your kids for these 18 years so that you're
Yes.
in their future life as a
Right.
grandparent. Otherwise, you fuck this up, you're not going to see your grandkids.
Right.
Right.
So you're playing for the long haul here. You want a
Absolutely.
relationship with your kids for the long haul. You're not pleasing the court for 18 years. You're pleasing your kids for 18 years. So you
Mhm.
can have that relationship with them for the rest of their lives,
Yeah.
or yours, I should say,
Right.
So yeah, it's just a mind shift change, when you're dealing with a high conflict parent. You're never going to change them. It's all about changing yourself,
Mhm.
and you will heal.
Yeah.
I love that.
Sure will.
You will heal.
And it's almost like, at least in my experience, and I think probably in yours, it's the best when you do. Like, because
Oh,
it's so
I know.
incredibly powerful. And
I know.
like,
I know. I was just reading a book the other day and it started out like, I bet you're feeling negative. And I was like, whoa, I'm not even reading this book because I'm not even feeling negative. Like this book is not meant for me. Like my life is so good now because I know who I am and
Mhm.
I'm unapologetic about it. Like I
Mhm.
have my quirks. I'm a cursor. I'm very straightforward. I'm not going to
Right.
sugarcoat. I'm not going to say I like something when I don't. I'm not going to go places that I don't want to go. And
Right.
people sometimes are like, you're so rude. No, I just know who I am. You don't.
Right.
So it comes across to you as being rude. It comes across to me as being very assertive with my time, and people want to be like that. They just don't know how to sometimes. But once you find it, it's like liquid gold. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a
sure.
drug of like, I have no problem telling somebody no. No,
Yeah.
not for me. And I don't explain it. Not for me.
No.
Mhm.
I don't have to give you justification why I'm not going. I got invited to 2 things on Saturday. I was like, nope, I'm going home.
Nope, that's their problem.
I don't
right? Their
want to be
disappointment's their
social.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be social. Like
Yeah.
I'm not there right yet, so no, not coming. I can't believe you're not coming. That's on you. You're upset
Right.
about it more than I am. I'm
Yes.
not coming.
Right. Their disappointment is their problem. Yes.
Yes. And so like in co-parenting, it's the same thing. Like, oh, I guess I should. There's a dad. I have a client right now. He said that he's with his new girlfriend for a long time. It might even be his wife, and she's remarried. So it's a 4,
Mhm.
And he goes, there's a premiere of a movie coming out and it's during my parenting time. But my ex-wife called and said, hey, can we go with you? And he goes, but we're high conflict. He goes, but she was really nice in this email. Like, hey, I want to come. It's the premiere. And he goes, what do I do? And I said, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And so she replied back and said, so are you going to the movie? You do not have to answer that question. But
Right.
so many parents that are dealing with somebody high conflict get intimidated by that question because we would never be that nosy back.
Right.
We would never, oh, no is a no.
Right.
Like we would be okay with that. But a high conflict parent's like, well, why aren't you answering me? Are you going to take her? That's not fair. We should be able to go. What's the big deal? And it's like, no's an answer.
Right.
No, I'm not.
The
Be
complete
okay
sentence.
with that. Just be okay with how you do your parenting time with your child is your parenting time. You don't have to check in with a high conflict parent because they tell you to.
Right.
Your time is
Well,
your
that's
time.
Ian's like, I think with that, and this is something I've definitely learned, is that even if, I don't know how to say this without it sounding bad.
It's all right.
If something is good for my daughter, but not good for me, that doesn't make it that I have to do it.
Correct. And it
You know,
doesn't
and
make
I-
actually that it's good for your daughter because she doesn't
Right.
need to see you shift into somebody different
Right.
for a short period of time for her benefit. My kids, 19 and 17, will tell you, we didn't like when you did stuff together
Mhm.
because here's why.
Mhm.
You were always kind. You were always respectful. You always bit your tongue and did it.
Mhm.
But in the background, he's still calling you every name in the book the second you leave, the
Right.
second we're around him again. He makes fun of your outfit. So we couldn't handle seeing you get crushed because you were being nice. And
Right.
for the longest time, my kids were like, we didn't understand it. Why were you being nice to someone that
Right.
hated your guts? And I was like, well, I
Right.
was faking it. I was just being cordial. I was being
Good for you.
respectful. And my
Yeah.
kids were like, no, mom, we were embarrassed for you. We felt bad for you. Like, here
Mhm.
you were being nice to somebody that treats you like dog shit. Like, stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
We wanted you to so that we could, so that we could have said, see, don't be mean to mom. But because
Right.
you were nice to him, we were like, is she okay with it? We're confused. Why were you? So no, you don't do stuff for your kids. I hate when people get up on my TikToks and put that comment, be
Right.
the bigger person, do
Right.
it for your kids.
Right.
No.
Not if it means my well-being is going to be in
Well,
harm's way.
and that was a really hard
Mhm.
lesson for me to learn.
No.
Yeah.
Because I think it is sort of drilled into our heads, especially like
Yes.
it's about your kids, and it is about
Yeah.
your kids, but it's also about you.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Right,
about
and if
me
you're
and my
not-
kid. It's
Right.
not about us anymore.
So
It's
true.
not.
Right.
The ring is off. The paper's signed.
Yeah.
I'm going
Yeah.
to worry about me and my kiddo.
Yes.
You worry about you and the kiddo.
Well, and I
Like
think
it's not, we're not doing the kumbaya shit anymore.
No.
That's
Right.
old school. That's a
And if I-
Lifetime special that's on rerun a long time ago.
Yeah.
We're not doing it.
Not
Like
doing it.
we're not getting matching shirts. We're,
Ugh.
we're not. Like it's just
No.
not. Like and I hate that people feel like they have to. Well, I'm going to do it for my kiddo.
No, well,
Right.
I think when you put the word should into it, that's immediately like a red flag for you to like
Yes.
rethink the idea. Because
Absolutely.
I've dispensed with that word from my vocabulary. If I feel
Mhm.
like I should do something, it probably means that I should not.
Exactly. I don't like when people put their own feelings aside for their child because then you're teaching your child to do the same thing
But
Mm.
don't you think that's something that moms do often?
all the
In
time.
our society, it's
All the time.
almost expected that
All the
moms
time. Not
have-
and not even with co-parenting, just with life. Like
In
there's so
general.
many moms that are like, well, I was supposed to work out, but my kid's sick, so I'll skip it and just hold
Right.
my kid.
Right.
Kiddo, here's your iPad. I'm gonna be out for 30 minutes doing a workout. I'll be right back. Here's your
Yeah,
puke
right.
bucket. You'll be okay.
Right.
Like I think we all need to still do what's good for us. Because if
Right.
we don't and we put ourselves last, then what's our kid gonna do in the future?
Right.
She's gonna put
Yes.
herself last. He's gonna put herself
Yes.
last. We
Yes.
have to show
Yes.
them that we're number one all the
Mhm.
time. I'm the most important person in this household to me. If
Mhm.
I'm not good, nobody else is good.
Right.
And I think high conflict parents will drill that in that you're last and you
Right.
buy into it. And then you
Mhm.
feel like you got to serve him. You got to serve your kids, you serve your community, you serve your job, you serve the dog, you serve your house before you ever
Right.
serve yourself.
Yeah.
And that's
There's
bullshit.
nothing left. Yeah.
Bullshit.
Right.
No, there's nothing left but alcohol to pull you back up to do it again the next day. And you're
Right.
like, no, misery in a can. No, thank you.
Mhm.
Nope. You got to take care of yourself. But that pressure is always there because you're always fearful of the court system. Well, the court's going to look at me like I'm being a bitch.
Right.
I'm
Well,
not being
and that's
nice.
the underlying thing, I think, in all
Yeah.
in
Fear.
most. Yeah, it's that fear, because that's like the only person that you feel like, even in a non-high conflict situation, that could take your kid away. And
Yeah.
to me, there's nothing that's more terrifying than that.
Right. But we have to hold on to the idea, though, that if I'm doing all my boxes, I'm checking, they can't take my fucking kid away.
Right. I know.
Right.
You know, like
Right.
we live in this false fear reality of like,
Man.
I'll never see my kid again.
Yeah.
That's not true, you know,
Right.
but it's what makes our decisions a lot. Like I
Yeah.
can't, I'll lose my kid. Like my
Right.
high conflict parent said, I'll take that kid
Right.
from you. And you're like, well, if I do that, he'll take my kids from me. He can't take your kids
No.
in your boxes,
Right.
you know? So, but it's that fear tactic, and it's not being informed,
Mhm.
not being informed about, you know, what's going on and what the possibilities are. You
Mhm.
know, it's that fear mongering of like, I know something more than you, so I'm going to make you scared.
Right.
So you'll comply. And that's not, I have so much regret of how much complying I did over fear. And
Yeah,
it was
but
a
you know,
false
like-
fear.
Right. I think that a lot of times you just don't know what you don't know, right? And also, like,
Absolutely.
it's so easy to look back and say like, oh, like, I mean, in my divorce, like when I came out, I'm like, who the hell am I? Like,
Right.
I'm a very social person. Like, I am kind of loud, kind of annoying.
Could barely tell.
But I was like very quiet.
Mhm.
for
Oh,
years.
same girl.
And
Same.
then I felt like,
Yeah.
Same.
who am I? Like,
I know.
Happened to
from
me.
birth, I have been like
Yeah.
a crazy, wild, and then slowly over time that went away because it was embarrassing or because whatever.
Mhm.
And
Don't wear that. We don't need people looking at you.
Yep.
You know, and you change
Right.
your clothes, change your hair, everything to conform to what they wanted. And then when you get divorced, you're like,
who the frig am I?
I mean,
Yeah.
I same thing. I think that happens to so many of my clients. They're like, and that's why Leah Marie and I work with her. We started the next chapter for women and for dads separately, but it's that whole like, how do I get this? And it's not get your old self back, but get your,
Get your
who
new
are
self.
you now?
Yes.
Right.
What are you about? What are you doing? But in the same breath, how do I deal with crazy over here
Right.
while I rebuild over
Right.
here? You know,
Yeah, I
you got to
love
find your new self. And again, I'm 44. I don't think I found myself till like maybe 40.
Mhm.
You know, I really just stopped giving a fuck and
Yes.
living
That
for
happens at
myself.
40.
I
It's
know. I'm just like, look, I got saggy everything. I got to stop caring so much about people's opinion because this shit ain't changing, you know, and just living for myself and living for my kids, like make
Mhm.
moments with me, like that whole saying no to Saturday. You know, I told Jared when we got in the car, he goes, I can't believe you said no. I said, I just want to go home and hang out with you guys. I don't,
Right.
these people mean nothing to me. I
Right.
want time with you all, as busy as we are. Like,
Right.
let's just have a day with us. Fuck those people. I mean, they're nice people, but
Right.
they're not my ride or dies. You guys are my ride or dies. Like, let's do that. But in my 30s, I would have been like, okay, let's go home and get the bag and change the clothes and get the swimsuits and let's bring a snack. And fuck all that anymore. Like, no, no, I'm not doing it. You know, just having that confidence to be able to say no or yes. Yes,
Right.
I'm going to go do something new for myself. Yes, I'm going to go get my nails done. Yes, I'm going to leave the house for 30 minutes and you're going to be fine. Like, also saying yes to stuff that you want to do.
Yes.
Even though it may sound crazy to other people, you know, like I'm on this tattoo ring right now where I'm just like, I'm getting a tattoo every month. And my mom fucking hates it. My mom's like, my mom's like, do you? Like, if you want to get tattooed, do you? Like, yeah, I'm just starting legs. Like, I'm just going to go on my leg and just
You're
work my
starting
way up.
legs? Oh.
Yeah.
I just got one too over the summer.
Yeah, like, it's just like, and I don't care about the judgment, you know,
Right.
like, because I think most of the judgment comes from people that are jealous that I have the confidence to rock them,
Right.
you know, like, and if it's not their thing, then I really didn't care to begin with. You know,
Right.
I think you just got to go through life not caring as much about other people and just worry about you. And when you do, it's so awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean,
It
and
is.
that's why your content is spot on.
Right.
Like,
Oh,
Right.
brilliant.
feel
Sam,
that
Right.
confidence.
are
in
Thank you.
badass. Yes.
others.
Well, thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you.
So I think, do we have any other questions? I think we can probably let you go. I feel like we've been here for
Anything else you want to share?
I know. No, I mean, everybody that needs anything knows where to go. Everybody, I'm sure you guys have links to stuff. I just want more women to I know everybody listens to great podcasts. This is the thing that I find a lot of my people do. They'll
Mhm.
listen to a training, they'll listen to a podcast, they'll listen to me hopping on and talking and you guys doing stuff, and then they don't take actionable steps.
Right.
They
Yeah.
sit there and they go, "Ooh, I got a whole bunch of intel,
Mhm.
but I'm not going to place the action behind it and try to
Yeah.
make a new boundary or try to make a new choice or try to make a new, like, okay, I'm going to start working out tomorrow, or hey, I'm going to put him on mute on my phone and not let him interrupt my day." Like, take an actionable step where you can get your confidence back today. Like,
I
showcase
love that.
something.
That
Just
should be our
something small.
grow work for this week.
I love
Yes.
it.
A boundary grow work. I love that.
Yes. Take
Wow.
some kind of take something back and place a boundary so it stays instead of pushing the boundary away and be like, okay, I give in again. No, show a boundary this week.
I
Mhm.
love it.
Love it.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
Sam, thank you.
Grow work for this week, we're calling a letter. We talk about this all the time, things that we wish we could say to our kids, but that we can't because it's not in their best interest, maybe, or because it's way above their developmental stage to understand. In this week's Grow Work, we want you to write a letter and say it. Don't worry, you're not sending it. Just the act of releasing it, we think, will give you a good growth opportunity. Pay attention to how it makes you feel, places where maybe some work can be done to heal, or places that maybe you would have written something a lot different a year or two ago. This letter is never meant to be sent, but it is meant to give you some form of release. Remember, Grow Work is never meant to be added to your to-do list and is only meant to add, never take away. This one might be hard, and that's okay. This week, we'll have some prompts or ideas that may help you think about what you're going to write, but as always, you should put your spin on it. We're excited to share and see what you come up with on our Facebook group. Bye.
Thanks for joining us for Co-Parenting and Coffee. This podcast is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal advice on any subject matter. If you liked our podcast, feel free to drop us a review. We'd appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you next time for a cup of coffee and a chat with another expert on co-parenting.